All right. Well, I'm with Mike Gaudioso here at Global Coin Headquarters. Thanks for coming, Mike.
Thanks, Evan.
Flew all the way up here from Florida. And we want to ask a couple of questions. I have the group here as well. And we're going to fire a couple of questions at Mike and go from there. So first off, we've never talked to anyone that worked for the U.S. Mint, so thanks again for coming. Tell us a little bit about your background, training. I know you've took a long path, obviously, and involved going to Russia and classically trained. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was, as a kid, I always knew I loved classical art. And trying to find a place to study back in the early 80s was almost impossible in America. Modern art took over. Friends of mine had said stories about the Pennsylvania Academy. They had a day where they destroyed all the plaster casts because that stuff wasn't useful anymore. So it was really tough to find somewhere to study. And anyone you did find was making it up themselves. They weren't part of a tradition, a lineage. So I traveled through Europe. It was the same thing. I went to France, Belgium, Italy, and you couldn't find any really strong academy to study in. So someone mentioned Russia. And I said, Russia? I said, well, I'll try. And I went there, and it was walking back in time. It was like America back in the 1920s. And my first day there, I'm working, sculpting, and the teacher walks in the room, and all the students, they put their tools down, and they take a few steps back, and they just put their heads down. And I thought, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Well, the teacher walks up to the sculpture, says a few words, and does this, and this, and fixes it, and walks to the next student. Well, he walked right by me. I didn't get any attention for a few weeks. And I didn't speak Russian. So I set my task. I found the best student in the school. He actually spoke English. And I said, I'll hire the models. I lived on a whole $4 a day. I was loaded. And I said, I just want to watch you work. I'll hire the models. I'll pay for lunch. And we worked together for about 6 months. After the first year, I was the best draftsman in the first year of sculpture studio. It went to 6 years. And then after the second year, I was one of the best in the sculpture department. I was fortunate. I was able to hire models all during the Christmas break. I had the money to get all the things I needed. I didn't have to spend time working. And the big bonus was I got to switch studios because I was paying cash. And I went to the painting studios departments, and they drew really well. So I started studying with the painters, and before you knew it, I was one of the top draftsmen in the school. They hated that. They got really pissed.
Was that always the plan that you were going to be there that long, or was it supposed to be a short
I was going to be
stint?
there as long as I needed to be there. It wound up being 5 years.
Okay.
And it was a tough thing. I had a Chinese roommate my first 2 years there, and he didn't speak English. I didn't speak Chinese. He spoke Russian a little bit. And after about a year and a half, everyone said, your Russian's getting really good, but you got a Chinese accent. And I did. It was unbelievable.
So you're the only one in Russia with the Chinese accent.
Yeah.
I
I used to get pulled over by the police a lot. Russians are really good with shaving and this and that, and I would grow a beard.
Yeah.
They thought I was Chechnyan, so the police would always pull me over with the guns. And they see my passport, and they say, oh, you're American. They throw at your face. Yeah, it was rough being an American there. Especially Clinton was bombing Kosovo. That was even worse. Didn't make it easy.
Right.
But I worked as hard as I could, and it was the best school in the world. It really was. And it still is. Little did I know I could have gone to Poland or Czechoslovakia, because they were part of the Eastern Bloc, they maintained that tradition as well.
Oh, okay.
I would have probably much rather have gone to Poland, a little more U.S. friendly.
Right.
But Russia was what it was.
Yeah.
So that's where I got my education.
So then you come back from Russia, and then what's next?
Got to find a job.
Yeah.
And again, it's a tough market. But there was a tradition in Philadelphia as well. There was an old school plaster studio, Karolfi Studios, and a lot of sculptors worked there. 2 or 3 of the sculptors at the U.S. Mint now also work.
Okay.
And it gave you do learn molding and casting when you're in school, but you don't get the fine points of it. So it was something that was necessary.
Right.
I became a master craftsman in molding and casting, and I worked there for a few years. But I wanted to go out on my own.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was I got a studio, and I opened up my own sculpture studio, and I started doing architectural ornament, portraits, things like that. And I quit that place. I started teaching in Villanova, taught drawing there, and all the time waiting, because in Philadelphia, you know the U.S. Mint is going to hire, and it's a small town, so the word gets around quick. But after that, I got a job at a stained glass company, and I painted stained glass windows for 3 years, painted over 200 churches, and that was a really wonderful job. The place was unstable because it's a tough industry. How
Sure.
often do you need to do a church?
Right.
But it was a wonderful job. And then I got the word that the U.S. Mint was hiring.
Now, it sounds like you knew that at some point the opportunity might come up then. Yeah.
Most sculptors in Philadelphia, I don't know how it is. It's a small town when it comes to sculpture. Everyone knows it really.
Right.
And the word came up. Not everyone's prepared to work there. That's the thing.
Yep.
And I was semi-prepared. I wasn't prepared for the amount of detail that they require. Being from the Russian school, if anyone knows Russian socialist art, it's rough. And finishing art isn't a big deal to them. It's more about form.
Okay.
So the U.S. Mint told me how to finish a piece. So that was important. But I applied for the job, and I got the job.
Tell the story with your wonderful wife that you told me
So,
last night. I think that
well,
was
I get the application in the mail, and it's like a small encyclopedia, and I sat there for
US
10
government.
minutes looking at it, and my wife grabbed it out of my hand and said, "Give me that thing right now." She filled out the whole thing for me, and so I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. So she mails it off, and something pops in her head, and she walks back to the FedEx store and says, "Can I please have that back?" Well, I never signed it. And my wife signed my name on it. And the reason that was so important is because it came down to me and one other guy winning the position. And he put the wrong job title number, and they threw his application out just for that. Me not signing it would have thrown it out. So I wouldn't have had the job, and it would have gone all over again, and I would have had to compete again.
And you know how many applicants? You told me last night.
Over 100.
Yeah, 100 different applicants, down to him and one other guy.
So,
And if she wouldn't have had that, and she thought like a voice almost said, "Hey, something's not right with the paperwork," or something she was saying last night. Crazy.
yeah.
So you recall the papers.
She signs my name.
She signed her name off the record.
And the
Of
next
course,
thing you know,
it's
I get the job, and I hit the ground running, which is it's another issue. You got to be able to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Within the first month, I had my first design selected. It was the first spouse program.
Okay. Yep.
And I was proud of that. It doesn't happen very often that someone just starts to gets a design selected.
So who decided that? Did you?
That was John Mercani ultimately
Okay.
would say what he likes, and then the CCAC, the Citizens Coinage Committee, would give your input. But John ultimately had the decision if he wanted to fight it.
Okay.
That was it. But I really got a dose of the U.S. Mint. I did the Olympic National Park, and it was a deer standing on the bank of a river, and there was all these pebbles on the beach. And so I got the criticisms back from sales and marketing. They said they gave me the design, and it had all these little red marks. And I said, "What are these?" And they said, "Oh, those are the stones that you didn't put on the beach." And I said, "You're kidding me, right?" And they said, "No." And I had to go back and trace and find every single stone that wasn't there. And I'm talking there were hundreds upon hundreds of stones.
They wanted every stone.
They wanted every single one there. And I thought, okay, this is what I'm dealing with here.
Right. This is different.
This is different.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad.
Right.
This is very different from I'm using my own artistic intuition to make it look this way or that. You don't do that at the Mint.
Right.
Even if it's your design, you have to make it look exactly like the design you presented.
Okay.
You can't say, "Yeah, but you know what? I think it looks better this way." No. That doesn't work.
Right.
You can't do it. It has to look exactly like what they selected.
Right.
So it's interesting.
So I have all the different designs, and I have a list here. These are all designs, sculpting credits. This is from Wiki. Looks like you've been busy. Native American dollar, presidential dollar, 2015-14. First spouse gold coins. Code Talkers recognition. American Eagle silver dollar, obviously the most well-known, with the reverse of 2021. American Eagle platinum proof coin, American Liberty 2019. I could go on and on and on, obviously, about 25 or 30 or more that you have credited to. Which one was your favorite one, would you say?
Code Talkers.
Okay.
They were congressionals.
Okay.
And everyone likes doing a congressional program. You get much higher relief.
Okay.
It's they're usually way more creative.
Okay.
And we did, I can't remember how many it was, 3 dozen or more. So the whole team was focused on just the Code Talkers. And I think within 6 months, we got the name on. John McConney was the head there.
Okay.
He was really proud of us. And as soon as I had 3 or 4 of my designs selected for that program, which was wonderful.
So were you always in competition then with other people in the room? Is that
yes and no?
Okay.
They were honest, and even if someone had a better design, we would always want the best design.
Okay. Okay.
So there was competition, but there wasn't.
So the balance with teamwork and
Yeah.
Okay.
The Code Talkers was one of the best highlights of the U.S. Mint. Okay. Everyone just kept working. And
that was your favorite one to work on. Tell us about like day-to-day life at the U.S. Mint. So we had Stephanie Saban, president of BCGS, and she told some really interesting stories of just the process that they go through, different things that happened that we weren't aware of inside BCGS. And we've never talked to anyone inside the U.S. Mint before. When you were telling me a little bit last night, and some of it may not be for the film, obviously, but it sounded like it was just kind of a loose, fun group of people. There's only a few of you.
There was 5 or 6 of us
Okay.
at the time. That's usually what it's about.
Yeah.
And one of the hiring processes there is the vibe that the person gives off.
Sure.
And everyone got along really well when I was there.
Yeah.
When I left, there was a person that came in and he rubbed people the wrong way.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's the reason he's not there anymore. It reflected in how he took, direction in working.
Okay.
I like the idea of not being able to do or put his own expression to an idea. Can't do that.
Can't do that.
I'm going to lose it. So everyone got along really well. Usually went to lunch together. Joked all day long.
Yeah.
It was nonstop. Everyone developed their own little personality quirks that everyone else would, at one point or another, gang up on them and make fun of them.
Sure.
Practical jokes. It's like any environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a serious, stuffy, artistic environment. Everyone jokes.
Yeah.
And there's feuds that happen too.
Sure. It's a family.
Yeah.
You have a small group like that. It's gonna happen.
So, but it was a lot like what you have here.
Yeah.
Everyone decorated their cubicles with what they liked, and practical joked each other, and gave each other support.
Yeah.
One thing about the U.S. Mint, if someone was better at something, the other person would step in and say, "We can help you." Okay. And they would do it.
Okay. Wow.
So there were certain digital things that I had problems with, and there were more than enough people to step in and take 15 minutes and show you digitally how to do it, or to take over and finish it for you.
Did they accept you right away when you came in? Or like,
no.
First day. It takes
It
a while.
It takes a little bit of while.
Sure.
I didn't open up with my personality
Sure.
for a while, right?
Right. Keep your head down, get your stuff done.
Yeah. But in the beginning, everyone's cordial.
Yeah.
But they're feeling you out.
Yeah.
To see if you're going to fit in.
Yeah. If you fit in, if you got the stuff, probably too, right?
Oh, that's most important.
Right.
But I was told after I left it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And I was, I'm very outgoing.
Yeah.
I like communicating. I like to make an environment festive and fun.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure they're all doing great now.
What's the shelf life on somebody who in that position? I mean, the average, is there like...
I did 13 years.
Yeah.
Some of the people are up to 20 years there.
Okay.
Easily.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's as long as you want, really.
Sure. So this is just going to be kind of an interesting thing. I think I got a kick out of it. He told me a lot of stories last night, and this one was one of my favorites. So his wife, Linda, who I met last night at dinner, was down in Florida already. Keep in mind, he's in Philadelphia working at the U.S. Mint. And, of course, he wants to go see his wife. So he would fly down back and forth over and over and over again. Obviously, go down and visit her. Will you tell the story that you told me last night?
Yeah, I might as well.
Yeah. Since I already led you into it.
We moved out of Philadelphia and sold our house, and I flew back every week. This went on for 3 years. I flew in on a Sunday night or a Monday morning, did my 4 days, and then flew back to Philadelphia. Well, every night, people would start leaving, and I'd say, I'll lock up. I'm going to work late. And I'd work for a few more hours. And then, I'd lock the door and pull out my mattress. And I lived at the U.S. Mint for 3 years. It was my secondary home.
True story. Wow. He lived at the U.S. Mint.
I brought in enough food. I had a mattress, blankets, and pillows shoved under my desk. And the first week I stayed there, at about 4 a.m, I heard the door open. And a security guard walked in. And I was quick enough to throw the mattress back in my cubicle when I was out of his view. And he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I got in early. I got a deadline today." And he went, "Oh, that's crazy." And I said, "I know, it's so crazy." And so then I realized I got to be up at 4 o'clock every morning. And I set up a bathroom, because you didn't want to be walking to the bathroom in the hallway at 3 a.m.
Raised a lot of red flags, yep.
So for 3 years, we had a refrigerator, coffee maker, microwave. I brought all my food. I'm working late, and then when they came in the morning, I got here early. After 2.5 years, they started getting suspicious, and they started suspecting, I think he's sleeping here every night.
Why is he always the last to leave, the very first one in the office?
So, yeah, it was something else. But then during COVID, we got to work from home, and my wife loved having me home. Yeah. And she said, you should quit. And I said, "Are you sure?" And I was glad she did, because I couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
Just too much back and forth. It was too much. And then I gave my resignation, but it was the best job I ever had.
Yeah.
Other than what I'm doing now.
There you go. Where you can do whatever the heck you want to now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, probably in U.S. Mint history, very, very probably the only person who slept at the U.S. Mint. And not just like a night. I'm sure someone could have fallen asleep. But like that was
3 years.
That was home for 3 years.
And it's almost exactly 3 years, slightly over 3 years that I did it. I look back and I think I commuted for 3 years. That's every week.
And with no sleep. Did you sleep on an air mattress or a raft? I think your wife said last
She
night.
would get,
whatever she could find for him.
The lifespan of the blow up raft.
Yeah, anything that would.
Because I could sneak in. It's actually I had a little plug-in air pump.
Oh, there you go. So you could just
and it went.
inflate it.
And I was like, "Oh my God, it's making so much noise, and I'm blowing up the air pump, and I'm sleeping there." My wife hated it. She was like, "What is wrong with you? Why don't you go back to South Philly?" And it's like a 4-mile walk or something.
Right.
It's late at night, and I got to Uber it or walk, and then in the morning come back. I said, "I'm not doing it, because then I would have to stay with someone."
Right.
And I didn't want to do that.
Right.
So it turned into, and I got way more work done.
I was going to say, think about the efficiency. You wake up, you're already at the office.
I had work done in record time, because I'm putting in that extra 3 or 4 hours. I'm not getting paid for it.
Right.
It didn't matter. I was getting the work done.
Yeah. Last one, first one in.
Yeah.
According to them. And then they finally realized, of course, that you just were living there. So you mentioned John Mercanti, obviously a huge name in the industry. And I know last time we were talking about Iskowitz. What are some of the other names of people that we've heard of that we've seen either in signatures or people who are famous at the U.S. Mint who have done a lot? You've met a lot
John's
of
the big name. John is the big name at the U.S. And he was the best chief engraver. So laid back. He would go out and they would have drinks in the afternoon. It was he worked there when you still smoked.
Right.
And, it was normal.
Right.
He was really old school. He'd sit there on his computer and tell you. It's not very different from me.
One by one. Yeah.
But he always had your back. He was just a great chief engraver.
Okay.
And I'll never forget when it was his last day, we walked him out. And he was choked up. He said, you know, for when I'm really starting to get good, now I'm retiring.
Right.
And I know what he means. You know, you start really picking up skills there,
Yep.
and then you retire.
Right.
But you know, if you keep working, you only get better and better.
Yeah.
So,
But no regrets.
no.
Time was right to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time was perfect. And you know, other big names there, like Don Everhart retired. He's probably one of the most prolific of all of the engravers. He's done so much work. I learned a lot from him. You know, Don was a master at being able to take a coin and make it pop off of the basin. And he's an expert in his field. He really is. So, and there's been other people that haven't done as much outside of it.
Okay. So then you're done at the U.S. Mint. You're down in Florida, and you're asking yourself probably, what's next?
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about that phase, and then what led you to where we are now with Beyond Relief, Silver Eagle, and Buffalo.
What happened was I knew I did the Silver Eagle, and I knew it was going to be big. I didn't know how big. But Miles from NGC, everyone remembers Miles Standish, he gave me a call. He got word that I retired. I sculpted the American Eagle, and he said, "You want to sign on for doing labels?" I said, "Sure." And so I signed a contract with them, cashed out everything that I had from the U.S. Mint, because I knew it was going to be an interesting transition.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, I started getting phone calls for jobs. And I started doing coin work on the side. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really turned into something wonderful, but I wanted to do more. So in between jobs, I wanted to keep my skills up. At the U.S. Mint, you're always keeping your skills up because it's one coin after another, one design after another. When you're working on your own, in between jobs, you got to keep working.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let me think. You know, what's the best thing to do? Copy the old masters. So I took the Walking Liberty, and I said, I'm going to do it big. It'll look nice on my wall. I'll do a big copy of it. And I was working, and my wife's in the living room. And at the time, my granddaughter and daughter are living with us.
Okay.
So it was a big festive environment. I was having a studio built in the back. I was building that. And I thought, it's so flat. I said, I'm going to bring it out a little more, make it a little higher than it was.
Yeah.
And then it kept getting higher and higher. And my wife walked up to me and she said, what are you doing? Just make it come all the way off. Make it come into life. And I said, really? And she goes, yeah, just do it. It'll look really good. I don't listen to her enough. And I did. And then I thought, oh, this is interesting because now I have to envision what her portrait's going to look like.
Right.
You know, we're only looking at half of her. What's the other side?
Never been done. Right.
No, normally what happens in art is, especially and only with relief, you're looking at a model of 3-dimension. I'm looking at you.
Yep.
And I have to make you and compress you onto relief.
Right.
So no one ever looks at a relief and says, I'm going to make it in the round. That's crazy. You don't do that.
Right.
So we did it. And it worked out really beautiful.
How many takes did it take to get?
Oh, it took months for me to do that.
Okay.
Months. And
does that mean when you say redo it, is it starting from scratch each time or just making alterations?
I just raise it.
Yeah.
Okay. Continuous work.
Okay. Yeah.
But then you stand back about 20 feet from it. It's one of the main things you do. You stand back and you look at it. You know, I had it set up where the photograph of the Liberty was exactly the same size.
Okay.
So I can compare the two of them.
Yeah.
And again, you can't copy it other than measuring. Okay. So I know the arm is this long. I'm making it this big. It has to be this long. But when it comes to the actual design moving in space, you got to rely on your eyes to do that.
Okay.
And that was the hardest part.
Sure.
Because it looks great from the front.
Yeah.
But when you look at it from 3/4 view, her arm, the one that's holding all the flowers, it's smushed in. It's got to come out more.
Okay.
It has to come out more without altering the way it looks from the front because it has to be the coin.
Right.
So it's huge.
Right. So
and that was the easy one.
Okay.
Compared to what we're doing now.
Right.
So what we're doing now is 10 times harder.
Right. And describe that then. Why is it 10 times harder?
Actual portraits. So for the buffalo nickel, the Indian portrait on the back, it's you have to make it look like him from the front.
Right.
And there were 3 different references they used for the buffalo nickel. Laura Gordon Fraser when she sculpted it. So I had to find all 3 of the Indians, photographs of them, and they're not good photographs. They're horrible, but you have to make it look like the Indian nickel from the front, which has never been done.
Right.
And it took quite a while. Because, again, if you're sculpting the front, and I'm sculpting you from here, well, from this view, what you did has to still match what the coin looks like.
Right.
So you're always sculpting this way and then turning it back and forth.
Right.
So it was a lot.
Right.
But it's fun.
And obviously, we look at it here and how it all turned out. We have our silver eagle, and then we have our buffalo. And I mean, the reaction from our clientele, then when we show them, first off, just pictures and emails on the front end describing it, and then they receive it, and it's just been overwhelming, obviously. And you get to talk to some of our clients today, and their reaction is just absolutely fantastic. As you look at that, you know, what was the most challenging as you look at it and you recount all the time, all the hours in the studio?
In the buffalo?
Yeah.
You know what was the most interesting part? It was making the decision on the face.
Okay.
When she sculpted the buffalo's face, something's off.
Oh.
I don't want to question her as an artist.
Sure.
She was a master.
Right.
Either they couldn't get a proper sample of a buffalo head,
Right.
or something happened, but the head is off. Particularly the nose and the muzzle. It's just wrong. And I never look at that nickel the same way again. Because I pulled up all the anatomy notes.
Did you notice it before you started working on this? Okay. So once you dug deep, then you're like,
once you dug deep, you look at it, you go, it's not right.
Right.
Something's off. I don't know what it was. And then do I make the change?
Right.
Or not?
Right. Right.
And I decided to make the change.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to be correct, but I tried to keep everything as accurate to the point as possible.
Absolutely.
But I couldn't do it in good faith, leaving the nostril, the muzzle area of the buffalo the way she had it.
Okay.
I had to change it.
Now there's other ones coming up, obviously, and Bob's in the room, and probably don't want to tease too much, but the next one is completed already. It sounds like, and you're already working on the one after that. It sounds like, so you're staying plenty busy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah,
these are real challenges, and especially the one now that we're doing. It's when it came to this, you have an eye. With the Indian head on the back, even in the coin, you can see what's going on here.
Okay.
With the next one, everything that's in the back of the head has to be completely made up because there is no image of it.
Got it.
So
start completely from scratch. You can really make it whatever you want, which is challenging and exhilarating.
It has to fit.
Right.
One of the other issues is finding a good image.
Right.
So many of the coins are worn down. And to get a good image, I mean, you have to see the wall in my studio. I have 15 different images of the same coin with different lighting, different exposure, different qualities, just so you can see there's something you missed.
Right. Every time.
Every time you look at a coin, another image of it has something slightly different, and it all makes a difference.
So from start to finish, you get this project, and they say, I want you to build that. What are we talking about for time frame and like hours? Do you have any even guesstimate on what kind of hours you have in something like that?
It's probably casting is just as more difficult.
Okay.
2.5 months, 3 months.
Okay. Right.
This one that I'm working on now specifically is even longer because it's we're doing the St. Gaudens, and he's an even bigger master than I thought he was.
Okay.
After trying to copy his work.
Yeah.
So I pulled up actual portraits of his. I even looked online to try to buy a portrait.
Okay.
To really get into his head and how he thought about sculpting portraits. And I had to tear it down twice.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I stood back. Again, I have the photographs and I have the relief, and I stand back and I said, something's off.
Right.
And you can only measure so much,
Right.
and it has to work from the front and 3/4 view. So, but now I finally nailed it, and I'm working on finishing this part up.
Okay. So you're getting close.
Getting close.
Cool. Now, last night you said that you had, if there's no regrets, there's something that you said you'd love to have done at the U.S. event, and it didn't happen.
No.
But it could happen now, perhaps with one of the programs that we're doing together in the future. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
One of the things I wanted to do, and I don't know where this comes from. It has to do with my upbringing.
The mischievous kid in you.
The kid in me,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, we all dreamed about pirates. We dreamed about getting away with things.
Goonies stuff.
The Goonie kind of stuff. We heard about someone robbing a bank, and we were like, whoa. And
Right.
it's kind of what city kids did.
Yeah.
We snuck in abandoned buildings. We always wanted to get away with something. Well, at the U.S. Mint, I always wanted to encode one of my coins. So I wanted to put some type of rebellious political message in the hair and do it in a way that you can never find it unless the word leaked out that something like this was done.
Right.
Of course, I would have been fired for it. But I didn't care. But thankfully, the opportunity never came up.
Right.
Because I would have did it. It required the proper portrait.
Right.
The proper subject, because I couldn't just take, one of the state quarters and put something crazy in it.
Right.
It had to be something political that I wanted to do. So, I told my wife, and she had a heart attack. She said, "You better not. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to lose the job." And I was just like, "I know." So, by the grace of God, it didn't happen.
Right.
So, but it's not stopping me from doing something else.
Right. Exactly.
So
I love the idea, though, the hidden message, because the idea was retired, don't tell a soul.
Don't tell anyone until I leave.
And then slowly maybe leak it out. Yeah.
It's some national treasure.
Yeah, exactly. And he referenced that flick last night,
Yeah.
National Treasure. Yeah. So,
I would have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for those meddling kids.
And that darn dog. Yeah. So now we have this coming to life, something that's never been done before. Is there any other projects, is there anything that you feel like, besides what we were just talking about, that you haven't done yet, that's like, before I'm done doing this, before I'm done sculpting and doing all this stuff, something I have to do? Is there anything like that that's still on the wish list to get done?
On the wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I walk down the street and I see things and I go, "Oh, that would be a great sculpture." So it's never ending.
Right. Okay.
There's no finishing.
Yep. Okay.
I did
done.
it all. No, because there's always something
Something you'll see and
that I want to do.
Yeah.
That's never going to end. But I will end my career, if I can, with something sneaky.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I have to do it.
Again, mischievous.
I will do
kid,
something, and I'll take it to my grave.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Well, I hope we're in the inside, so we get to help leak it out at the end.
Oh yeah, I'll make sure everyone does.
That's fantastic. Well, at this point, I'm gonna open it up. You guys get to hear a lot of the story and things. You guys can fire some questions at Mike if you want to.
So you're a creator of coins.
Yeah.
Are you a collector?
Yeah.
What do you like?
Everything, really. I mean, I have the congressionals. I have almost all of the code talkers. A lot of commemoratives I have.
Yeah.
I don't have all of my coins. I do have a big collection of the Washington Cross into Delaware.
Okay.
I like that one. That was fun.
Yeah.
And that's something I would like to do large and recreate. I was given a lot of European coins. My mother and father were from Italy, and my grandmother, who was here as well, she owned a bakery shop. So people would give her all kinds of coins.
Sure.
So I inherited a lot of that stuff. So there's all European, there's Italian, French, and all kinds of coins that I have, and I kept them all.
Yeah.
I collect them.
Yeah. Other questions?
Is there an artist or sculptor or somebody that influenced you when you were younger? Maybe like your favorite artist?
When you're younger, you don't know. You're into comic books. You learn art as a kid by watching the cartoons, at least here in America.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things that really got me involved was the book covers. And this actually goes back to education in America. In the 50s and 60s, modern art started taking over. So all these great illustrators, not even illustrators, painters that we had in America, it was much easier for them. The painters, they weren't making classical paintings. They weren't showing them because the gallery scene was modern. It was, it was splashes of art on a canvas.
Right.
So what they did was they went to illustration and they started doing book cover work. Well, a lot of these guys lived into their 80s and 90s, just long enough for emerging young artists who were craving the tradition to find them and extract as much information out of them as they could before they died.
Okay.
And that happened predominantly in New York and California.
Okay.
There was in particular, there was one painter. His name was Fred Fixler, and you've all seen his work. You just don't remember it. But he did a lot of those romantic book covers.
Oh, yeah.
And the Sea Witch from El Salvador,
Right.
all those smutty ones.
Yeah.
And when you look at them, they're fantastic.
Right.
That's what they did.
Okay.
And it was a lot harder for the sculptors. They really got trashed. No one does this stuff anymore. We just make, shapes and things. But a lot of America's tradition was saved by these people.
Okay.
It was a long time before I thought, America's never going to catch up to Russia in terms of our ability to produce good artists. But they're making a real comeback here in this country. If I was to advise any young sculptor or painter what to do, I think, with the accessibility of the internet and images and schooling, you really could pretty much get everything you needed in America now.
Okay.
But back when I was young, it was non-existent. You had to go there.
Yep.
That was it.
It's the only place to learn.
Yeah, but artists, as I got older, when I went to, I couldn't pick a place to go to high school. I was horrible in all my grades, math and science. All I liked doing was drawing.
Yeah.
And then I found out there was a high school for art, and I went, oh my God, let me go there. And I went there. So I went there, and you're still not exposed to great artists. That's something you learn on your own. So one year you just, you get young and everyone loves Rodin. Oh my God, Rodin. And you get older and you're like, I'm not into Rodin anymore. So your taste is always changing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Abs, you have a question?
I kind of forgot what I was
Okay.
saying.
All right.
So I know, this is something that I've thought of when I give my clients. You think of Royal Canadian Mint, they've done crazy things like black lights on their coins and a lot of crazy technology. Then you think of U.S. Mint, I know last year we did a laser print mark with a laser. And this year, I guess I just learned all the coins they're doing actually feature laser technology for the first time ever. That's about the craziest thing they've ever done. And so a lot of people are like, why doesn't we have the Royal Canadian Mint, and sometimes even the Australian Mint doing some crazy stuff. U.S. Mint's pretty traditional. Do you think it's because maybe they're just not very imaginative, or they just like to stay very more traditional, kind of state that showing off for other mints?
Our output at the U.S. Mint exceeds all the other mints in the world. But there was a time when the Canadians, especially when they came out with the maple leaf, and we were doing the baseball coin, and we had a hard time with it.
Yeah.
And everyone was freaking out. They were like, "Look, the Canadians did it."
Right.
So it was a big deal. Everyone got really pissed off.
Yeah.
We pulled it off, but it was a lot of effort.
Right.
And that's when they started realizing, we gotta start doing some cool things here.
Yeah.
But they were very traditional, and they just wanted to, "That's what we do, and that's it. Just keep doing that."
Yeah.
But they're starting to change now.
Yeah.
But you're right. This a lot of it is, they stick to a schedule. We do our 2 commemoratives a year, the congressional medals, and then the state quarters and all those kind of things. They're a lot more strict.
I think they're just kind of been in that tradition. Another thing I hear is for example, some of their highest products, like the OA Buffalo sets at 4-piece. I've heard from customers why during that a Buffalo anniversary haven't they ever restruck the OA Buffalo set? That's a missed opportunity, or some of these pieces, and it's you feel Krugerrands, for example, they've restruck 5 of those, the 5 of the golds, and so sometimes I feel the U.S. Mint sometimes misses that mark, but it also makes those one-time sets even more, popular.
Yeah.
But I just feel like other mints have sometimes maybe just taken that one margin and really just expanded it, and people draw to that. And then, like I said, the US Mint's a bit more traditional,
Yeah.
where I feel like if they did expand it a little bit more, they would have a wider customer base versus where they just stay kind of,
The other
Yeah.
factor is all the world mints out there in the United States that have all been privatized or semi-privatized, which gives them a lot more flexibility.
That's what I was just going to say.
They're really bound by congressional, but then also they are a pure government agency and they are unionized. And it is like talking with David Ryder, it's very difficult to get these things done because no one wants to put their neck out.
That's exactly what I tell
Yeah.
people. I just say that, it's hard and they stick to what they know. And I see a lot of that stuff can be very niche, which it very well can be.
Mhm.
And, this is just kind of that tried and true, like stays around, like tells the test of time sort of thing. But I just didn't know somebody on the
Well,
inside.
the U.S. Mint, in their defense, they can have an emergency necessity for a coin, and they can turn around, have it designed, sculpted, and manufactured in a month or less. I've seen them do a sculpt and have it done in 3 days. Yeah. So when they want to, they can kick out work, and there is no better mint in the world than the U.S. Mint. When you pound for pound, what they can do, the output, everything. The Philadelphia Mint especially, they can handle the output for all four of the mints on their own. So there was always that rivalry between all the mints.
Sure.
Right. So
Question too. So you are a signer with GC, so your signature is on holders. How do you feel about signatures on holders and the collectible value and how that makes the coins more collectible?
well, who would want a painting if it wasn't signed?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, I own a lot of prints. And there was a very, very famous Philadelphia artist. His name was Bolton Morris. He was the great-great-great-grandson of William Morris, the financier of the American Revolution. And even though these are just prints, he signed them.
Nice.
And that's what really gives it a lot of its worth. Of course, when you look at coins, yeah, it's silver, it's gold. But when you have the signature, then it brings the whole thing together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want a sculpture without a signature. I wouldn't want a painting without a signature.
Yeah.
So, and it's a collectible. It's called a collectible for a reason.
Definitely. Well, yeah.
And the signature thing. And only recently did they allow us to start putting our initials on the things.
That's
For a while, that didn't happen.
Oh, I see.
So,
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So I've heard you mention, talk about your creativity, everything from graffiti on T-shirts and clothing lines to the colored glass. And now, the sculptors. Was there any inspiration within your family, or did you find inspiration?
my father was an artist.
Okay.
He was a painter. He actually bragged he could do anything. He took a tour of the school and walked around and actually look at the teachers' work. He said, I can do that. The teachers with eyes bulging out of their heads. And my father was that talented. He was in the Air Force in England. And I have a painting of his that he did of the oldest, still authentic existing street in England.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he could do anything. And then I grew up in the bakery shop with my family, and I was always using my hands.
Yeah.
So that turned into that, and plus my imagination. I mean, me and my friends were really those Goonie kids.
Yeah.
Looking for treasure and building clubhouses. It was the epitome of the Norman Rockwell kids.
Yeah.
But because I was so bad at academics, I could only rely on art, and that's really what did it. So.
a true left brain, right brain situation.
When's your birthday?
July.
Okay.
I'm a Leo.
A Leo.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So it's trying.
He's trying to pin it back and figure
Well,
out.
I'm seeing some resemblance in our personality. I'm like, oh shit. Him and I could get in trouble.
Yeah.
July 29th to be exact.
Oh.
I don't know, you're a Papa One true.
Yeah.
Mike's got one there.
Yeah.
This coin that you had over here, and what it's sitting on top of, did you come up with that idea?
No, that's all Bob.
That's all
Bob Wilkie came up with the entire design for all of that. And it's fantastic.
I've been trying to get Steph for a little while to take the global coin logo and make it like
picture of Atlas, the man of the world. And I think that would look pretty cool, sit on a stand like that with a globe.
Oh, that would be great.
See, thank you.
Well, it's a famous sculpture. Atlas holding. There's so many images of Atlas
Right.
holding up the world.
Yeah.
Globe,
Might as-
global coin.
Might as well be holding us up. Yeah.
That was-
Yeah.
So maybe that's his next project.
I can see it right here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, there it is.
Atlas holding it up.
With the
Absolutely.
sandals and everything on one
Mhm.
knee.
Yeah. Well,
Real fast on the ground.
we are
There you
talking.
go.
We are talking with Bob about the possibility of partnering and having him design something exclusive for us. And maybe that's it, Bass, right there. Maybe. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Professional sitting on your desk.
Yeah. Collectors would love that. Oh, I guess so. I know it's on video. Dang it. No.
It's video. That's video. They don't see it out
It
there.
just happened. I know. They're all going to walk on
I
it and
keep
just be
thinking
like,
sounds like
"Hi."
sleeping at the office to work more. I like this idea.
Right,
We're gonna
right,
have
exactly,
mattresses under our
Yeah.
bed.
That's what you guys should have taken out of it. Is
Yeah, I know.
have more dedication,
Dedication.
sleep underneath your desk, work 16 hours, sleep for. He
I
doesn't
want to
sleep
go
either.
after they
For
found
7 years.
Right, well, that's
Do
for
they
you.
mention-
You have
No, I
dedication.
got rid of all the evidence. My last week there, yeah. I got rid of all the evidence.
So you never had to get another house in Philadelphia. You just
No.
your residence for 3 years.
Yeah, you put the
officially at
mint-
the mint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's-
Oh no, it was Florida, but
Yeah, but
Right.
at the U.S.
unofficially.
And that's
unofficially
such a great
United States
story.
Mint.
Yeah.
I was the only person to ever live there,
That's
I mean,
a
that
great
is
story.
awesome. That is
That is a good story.
and I lived there. I mean, it was
That's
I
kind
worked
of
there
your
and lived
sneaky
there. I was there.
legacy right there.
Right,
It's not
it
even a
is.
coin, but that's a sneaky legacy right
Right.
It
there.
got scary because when we were like really, really busy, I looked back and I was like, I've been here for 43 hours and haven't left the building. I was like, oh my god, because we're so busy. I got to
Yeah.
get work and I
You're
got
like,
my lunch. It
I
was
probably
raining
get some-
outside.
yeah,
I
get
couldn't
some
go out.
fresh air.
That sounds
So
like
it was.
Wow. Right. Oh, I love it.
My wife hates it. She's like, I can't believe you did that. And I said, it was
They're
funny.
like, he
But
doesn't
it worked.
stand his code. Like his car doesn't left the building.
Right, ever, Yeah, dedication.
Or you shower in it.
I actually joined a gym around the corner.
That's genius.
Yeah, I joined the gym. I went and got washed.
That's a good question, Bass. Let's think about like the logistics. Like, wait a second, what would you smell like after
Yeah.
2 months at the mint?
This is a dedication to the
Yeah,
mint. Like,
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
a
this is next level stuff right
This is
there.
on point.
Right. You don't get this out from all the government
I had friends in
employees.
Philly, and every time I did stay over at a guy's house a couple times in the beginning, but he always pulled out the beer. And they all wanted to hang out and drink, and I said, I can't do that. I don't do that. It
Right.
screws me up. I don't, I very rarely drink anymore
Yeah.
because we're just so busy.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's a celebratory little glass of wine or something. But-
Sure.
So I nixed that. I said, I'm not staying there. They want to get drunk all the time. And
And there's no alcohol at the mint, so it's perfect.
No alcohol. I'm gonna drive us
Sure
home.
about that.
So would this be
Maybe.
like a celebratory?
Yeah. Letting the cat out of the bag.
If only I knew where a bar was. Shoot.
I'll get a bill from the Treasury Department for rent, back rent.
Well, you did work all those extra hours count, so I
That's
think
true.
Out.
Yeah, you're right. Overtime that's unpaid,
I
and
can
then
get evens
rent.
out.
I mean, it kind of evens
I
out.
mean,
Yeah, we're back to even.
But the U.S. Mint, it was a great environment. Now the employees of the Mint, outside of the sculpting area, they didn't like us very much. They called the engraving department the Rainbow Room. Because they're like, you guys think you're special, or like, well, yeah, we're making the point. We're pushing the button, we're making the point. So
Right.
yeah, but we all kind of got along.
Right.
But they all, when we laughed, they were like, they think they're special.
Now, did you travel then to like West Point and like
We did the
Denver and stuff
traveling
like
we
that?
had to do.
Okay,
Yeah, DC.
okay,
Yeah. Never. There were trips to West Point. I didn't go to that one.
Okay.
But
Was it to learn something, to meet people, shake hands, or was it
Everything.
all the above? Okay.
yeah, the
Okay.
dedications for coins.
Sure.
all
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay.
So any idea why they stopped making so many bottles now?
No idea. It's all. It depends on what San Francisco. I mean, there was even rumors San Francisco was going to close.
Right.
There was a few months back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no one knows internally what really is going on.
Maybe somebody's living there.
Philadelphia is such a special mint. They're the only mint that has a smoking room.
Really?
Yeah.
They have a smoke.
They have a smoking room at the U.S. Mint, and they tried to take it away, and it was almost a civil war up there.
Oh my god.
So they had to let them keep it.
Oh,
Yeah.
See, grandfathered in.
I
Mhm.
love it.
That's it.
Yeah.
It used to be the OG, right?
Yeah,
The very
the OG.
first and only mint
Yeah.
for a long time.
I was saying like that's everyone's favorite mint. Like I had so many clients calling me. I mean, in offers canceling everything from the mint because of San Francisco. I mean, you would have think that they canceled Christmas. I mean, it was
Oh, yeah.
like I was like, good lord.
Back in the old days, prior to all the technology, gold coins and blanks were flying out of that building. They used to put the gold blanks in dead rats
You said dead rats?
and throw them in the trash, and then fish them out later.
Wow.
Then, after they
Yeah.
caught on to that, with the trash, scanning the trash, they started flushing them down the toilet because there was a septic company that would come.
Oh my god.
So I
Fishing
think
out gold blanks
someone
back
told me, I think it was an estimated $9 billion worth of precious metals have left that U.S. Mint since its inception.
in. Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah. And now you can't get away with anything. You
Right.
can't leave that mint. If you got a penny in your pocket, it's going to go off.
Right.
So
Yeah. Prior to the technology catching up, man, oh man.
oh yeah, it's something else.
Oh.
But in the old days,
rat.
people walk out with tons of gold.
Think about those pattern coins.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's right.
Good lord, dead rats. I gotta say that's creative.
Oh,
It
yeah.
is. It is. It's very creative.
And I gotta say, for if you're gonna work for any government institution, the U.S. Mint was great.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah, it's a great place to work. And I can criticize them on certain things, but when push comes to shove, it's the number one mint in the world.
Right.
When you put all the pieces together and what they're capable of doing,
Sure.
and they can be a little tightwaddy with
Yeah.
their ideas and things like that, but when they want to get something done,
Yeah.
it gets done,
Right.
and it's impressive.
Yeah, and the sheer quantity of numbers are just astronomical
Yeah.
compared to anyone else. So.
Yeah.
I had a question. Like we're always talking about the schedule each year. See how it's congested,
Mhm.
like a month or two, and then there might be months where
During those, so when we would work on a coin, it wasn't being released for another year. And the schedule, we used to have monthly schedules, weekly schedules, meetings about what we got coming out, what has to be done, what needs to be done, and at what phase you have to be as an artist, as an
At this
entire
stage.
team, as a whole department, where we all have to be.
Okay.
And again, it follows the rules. We're doing two commemoratives, however many congressionals. You always kept in consideration that an emergency coin is going to come through because someone passed away.
Sure. Yeah.
That always comes through. And then whatever quarters we're doing, whatever state quarters are coming out or whatever new programs coming out.
Yeah.
But it always hits an area where they finish up coins and there's a little dead zone where things are being dyed. And, they run into problems as well. They're not without mistake. Sometimes a coin will come back, it's not striking properly. It has to go back, so it gets delayed. That's where the gaps in time come from.
And it could be marketing too, Ben, because like we've seen coins get pushed out and with delays and stuff, and so coins are probably already made and could just be marketing plays, especially like the anniversary year with certain things like the enhanced coin getting pushed back or out, but then they canceled the Morgan and piece from the San Francisco, which is probably why they then pushed the one coin out and delayed other things. So I think some of that, even though the coins might be made, it could be a marketing play also.
For sure,
too.
timing.
Yeah.
Well, the market thing, I mean, they would put state quarters to capital quarters.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been out of there now for 5 plus years, so I'm not quite sure how, any delays that are taking place now or
Sure.
what the reasons
Yeah,
are.
but
Right.
I think a lot of it too people are marketing.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think their schedule could also be a marketing thing too.
Cool. Everybody good? Any other further questions at all? Cool. All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was great meeting you.
So,
Cool.